Sometimes I'm feeling like Michael. We taking a stand, creating a plan, and beating the cycle. We got a whole lot of what we gotta do. Give me the raw, give me the real, just give me the truth. We start a conversation, then let the world debate it. Breath of fresh air coming through just like ventilation. And no boy, let me tell you about the squad. A dream team, so you know they coming hard. Now first up, let me tell you about Jay. You know he wise, man, that boy got knowledge for days. Check out his mind. Then we got Sean coming through like Thanos, keep him in line. He's a quiet storm, but don't get it twisted, you see the grind. And next up, we gotta talk about Nate. You know she slay. She got the brains and the beauty plus strength to keep him straight. And last but not least, we got Nostradamus. He's the voice of the people, so he'll keep it poppin'. My squad gon' keep it 100, and that's all facts. They're here to spark the conversation. Now you debate that.
Welcome to another episode of Debate That, where we discuss relationships, pop culture, social issues, and much, much more. My name is Jay.
And I'm Nay.
I'm Sean.
Nostradamus, what we got for today?
Our question today is, do good guys finish last?
Hell yeah.
No.
In the world's eyes.
In what eyes?
I said maybe in the street's eyes, I should say, not even in the world's eyes, maybe in the street's eyes.
First question I got.
Last and what?
Can somebody please tell me what a real nigga is?
Somebody who handles responsibilities, who holds it down. At least that's my definition. I think everybody has their
Isn't
own
that called a
definition.
man?
Yes.
True.
Because the I'm gonna get into it a little bit later. I'll tie that back in. But to start off, do good guys finish last? What's y'all thoughts?
Well, I just want to see what Nay's reaction, like she reacted a certain way, and I'm curious as to why she reacted like that. She reacted in a way that where she felt sorry for somebody, like, oh, no. Like, what was that reaction
I had a girl moment. I was having a girl moment over here in my little square.
And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I think when it comes to saying do good guys finish last, I always looked at it from a perspective of dealing with women, not in any other aspect of life. I think it always come down to with women. Like it's the dude who's too nice finishing last next to the dude who's a, asshole who probably can talk ish and treat you how you want, how you don't want to be treated, but you tolerate it. And then you got the dude who probably is super nice and willing to be there for you, however you need, on those terms. Is the guy finishing last?
I don't understand.
Do they finish last or do they finish just more smart? I don't know. Like I don't like that whole term. Good guys finishing last.
I don't think it's last.
I don't think they finish last. I just think so. It carries out, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think they finish last. I just think that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yo, you just want to roll today.
I ain't got my sign, but it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint, because at the end of the day, I think so. Nay, what's up with the bad guy persona?
Those guys finish with more. Who
finished with more? The bad guys?
No, I remember we're like, to me, the good guys. I don't have to give this because it's like, it's a term that we just throw around, I feel, right? Mm-hmm. But the good guys, they the ones that are real men.
So what about? So do you have friends that like the bad guy in high school? The bad guy.
I used to like the bad guys.
So what's the bad guy?
The rebel guys, the one who's caught in trouble, not being responsible, the ones who think they thugs. I've had my days.
You sound like you've been through it.
I've had my days, and I always had the good guys in my corner. That were my brothers, my friends.
Friend zone them.
Real quick,
they was
friend
always
zone.
looking out when I was boohoo crying because my boyfriend just found out he was cheating on me. I've always been a girl who I have my circles are. I've always had tight circles of male friends. All my brothers, all these dudes always look out for me. I've always usually a lot older than me. I just always been like that. And I'm like crying to the good guys, or if I have even in the same age group, high school, college, you find your boys for life, your friends for life. I have a lot of, I'm very selective on who I choose in my circle and who's my friend, but I have really great friends. And it was always the good guys in my circle that were friend zones.
You ever take anyone of? You ever try to take any one of them out of that friend zone? Anyone had potential outside of that friend zone to even kind of look that way?
Back then, no. And then now that I look on it now, I'm like, yo, Nay,
you missed the boat.
You missed all your blessings that God sent.
Well, that's the reason I asked that question.
For putting them guys into the friend zone or them finishing. But I don't. But see, now my perspective of where they are at in life now, and some are still good friends with me, but they're married happily. It's like looking at. It's really truly like looking at because we go from way back, way back, looking at like the siblings, and damn, like. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. You're all grown up, married, kids, good job. So it's like a proud moment within me. It's not anything more than that.
So I guess because like I'm saying, it's a sprint. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint, because I feel like just like the episode where we talked about, should you wait for sex? Should you wait to have sex until marriage? Right? Just like that episode, it's a perspective thing. So when you're looking at it from that age, then you're looking at, oh, he or she is cute. He or she is fine. I guess the same thing as cute. He or she is
he got
a rebel. Yeah, it's all of those things.
Get in trouble, like.
So I guess
ridiculousness that
what we would find back then as value
10-15 years ago.
Yeah, what we find as value is definitely changed over the course.
Of course. Now send me all the good guys.
But the bad thing about it is, like those same girls, when it gets to the point where the good guys finally got to where they've arrived, then when those dudes treat those women like they were treated in high school, are they wrong?
When those guys
say that again.
Now
right.
treat
so
yeah, you gotta say that again.
When those guys arrive, right? The good guys, it's 20, 25 years later, they've arrived. Now they're in their early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, right? They've arrived, they've gotten their job and they're doing great, right? Now, those same women now approach those good guys from high school, right? On some I've always liked you type stuff.
No.
And if those guys be like, yo, nah, I'm not trying to have that, are they wrong?
No. You ain't want to get on. You ain't want to run this marathon. Yeah, you ain't want to run that marathon since, like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. If they ain't want to walk that marathon from day one, I mean, at that point,
that's not fair. That's not fair. Like whoever was missed, whatever blessing was missed in the past, it was missed, and it was missed for a reason. It's just done with. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I mean,
that's not fair to expect the dude to want you now because all of a sudden now you like him and want him. Nah, it's not fair.
Jay, I get what you're saying about it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? But I think sometimes, you know, some of the girls, they're like blinded by the potential of a guy, right? And they see like his swag, or they see like he's popular, and because he's popular, they might think like, oh, that dude's gonna be successful, or whatever the case is. Whereas when you see the good guy, you're like, oh, he's uncool, he doesn't have style, or whatever the case is. But sometimes, you know, people bud at different times based on their interactions, their experiences. So I might have been a square in high school, but when I go to college, you know, I might have, you know, found my niche and start budding. And then, so I think when we talk about it, do good guys finish last? I think we got to look at it as, like you said, as a marathon, but also like in sections. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if we look at somebody in high school who was a good guy, they probably did finish last versus how they were when they were in college or how they are after college. You know what I mean? So at certain times, being a good guy, you probably do finish last.
But then at the same time, you got to see who's the one to put that stamp and say, this is last. You know what I mean? Who?
That's what I'm saying, though.
Who's the one last? Setting that? Yeah, who's to say that, you know, this is the criteria for you to, you know, finish last, or
who's setting the margin?
This is that. Yeah, exactly. Who's setting the margin for last? Because last to someone else is first to someone else. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I mean, I think, like you said, it depends on who's setting that margin. Because, like you said, you could have been a square in high school, but, you know, through college, you know, you probably came into yourself and became a cooler person, if you want to call it that. But for the most part,
people who set the last is really just, you know, the popularity, the people you hang out with, right? Because like, you know, if it's a group of your friends,
yeah, you're right.
Where they would be like, oh no, you know, they would talk trash to you about the dude that you picked if they felt like he was a square. So the people you're around are the ones setting, you know, pretty much the nice guy and who's finishing last.
But then you'll see the dude who say, okay, well, yes, your peers, and then you'll say, okay, well, your peers, the dude who's you saying finishing last. You know, he got his own car. He probably got his own place, got a good job, like, you know, Jay was saying. And then you got the mother peers that's stuck in the same bucket, you know what I mean? And they ain't moving. So at that point, because he was Captain Kirk and actually doing all this nice stuff for the girl and say, oh, you know what? No, she wanted this or whatever. She asked you to do something. You do it. So your peers and stuff looking like, man, you out here kirking for this chick. Same thing. So it's like, are you finishing last? But at that point, I mean, with your peers, I wouldn't give a damn. If it's the people that you call your peers and that's in your circle, if they think that you're finishing last because you being nice to a female because you can and that's just who you are, then so be it. I guess I'm just last then. You know what I mean? But you always get the last laugh at the end of the day.
I guess I would have been a good guy because Mr. Nostradamus be having comments like, you know, my first name Robert, my middle name Jason. So he'd be like, hold on, am I talking to Jay or am I talking to Rob? Because the conversation going a little bit left. so for me, I've always been a good guy. I've always been a good guy only because I just, for the most part, you know, my wife called me Captain Saberhole, right? Because I'm always helping people. My homeboy called me 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm gone. Like I'm always helping people. She be joking, but I've always been the good guy. So to me, I look at this thing like when you buy a stock. Some stocks perform really well early and then they drop. Other stocks don't perform so well early, and as time goes, they gradually go up. So just like when you buy a CD and it matures at the end of its term, just haven't made it to the end of the term yet. That's just a portion of it. So you have certain parts that to Nostradamus' point, that may be in high school, but you got to look long term, because what's considered value now is not considered value when you get out in the real world. That doesn't translate. Kids going from college to the NBA may have been phenomenal in college, don't translate to the NBA. They just can't cross over and get ready for the next level. So for me, being a good guy, I really don't consider myself finishing last. I mean, I'm married. I got 4 kids.
Got a whole
we good.
tribe.
Great friends. Yeah, I got a whole tribe. I got great friends. I think I finished. I mean, my story ain't done, but I think I finished all right, considering that 20 years later.
Same here.
Yeah.
But I would say you were the good guy, Jay. I mean, I remember you back in high school. I mean, you had nice clothes, you had nice shoes, you know, you had swag, like you were popular. People wanted to know you. Girls liked you. So I wouldn't say you were the good guy. Your perception, you may have thought you were the good guy amongst the people you were. I don't know.
Shoot.
But
I don't know.
So what's our
Because
definition? What's our definition of the good guy? Is the good guy for this particular question? Is the good guy like the nerdy guy, the geek? Is that what the good guy is?
Not even. I think the good guy is the person who, like you said, when it comes to, it only attends when it only comes up when it comes to females. So the good guy is that person where you might be like, hey, you want to give me something from the vending machine? They get you something from the vending machine, but yet your peers around you be like, oh, who that for? Oh, that's for Nay. What you getting her something for? You know what I mean? And then they be like, she ain't giving you no play. You know what I mean? And you might have talked to your peers and say, you know what? I like Nay. Nay is cool. You know what I mean? I could mess with her. I could date her, whatever. But if they don't see the reciprocation of where they know your mind is, and if you were, trying to work into getting to know Nay, and they saw you doing things for Nay to where it looked like you almost trying to do too much, I would say, I think that's when you kind of fall into that good guy role where now you're just being overly nice when you're just probably being yourself, you know what I mean? But because it's not being reciprocated the same way as far as, you're not seeing her show that type of interest, you're going to look like you're the good guy at that point. It has nothing to do with nerdy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Book smart stuff. It's just more so. And it's only going to come out basically if you share that information with your peers around you. And it's like, damn, well, Nate over here talking to Jay, but shoot, Sean over here getting Nate this from the vending machine, buying her lunch here and there, whatever. But Jay over here, he just doing nothing. He chilling. You know what I mean? Ain't putting no forth, no effort, no nothing. So, go ahead.
Simple word for that, right? Simp. Thank you. Simp. Right? Because to me, it's like, I'm willing to do all this for you. I told you I want to date you. I told you I like you. And every time you need something, you call me and I'm there. But you never giving me the time of day. But this mofo to the left of me that's over here, like, ain't doing nothing for you, dogging you out. You all over here.
And he got a resi where he out in these streets probably slinging, and he done talked to this one, that one, and the resi ain't good, and you still
blowing up his phone, chasing after him, crying over this dude. You crying over the dude to me, and right. I'm your shoulder. Like that's the good guy that's finishing last in my mind.
That
correct. We're all on the same page.
Okay.
Big facts.
So check this out. On Facebook nerdy, Monday.
But he ain't getting no play.
So I'm on Facebook. I'm reading this post, right? So this dude and this chick is married. And the chick cheats on the dude with his friend. She gets pregnant. She tells him that you're the father of the child. Come to find out, the dude is the father of the child. she immediately got an abortion when he found out. She wants to stay in the marriage.
But she want to have more fun.
The dude is trying to figure out if he wants to stay in the marriage. So anonymously, he asked for advice. Me personally, I couldn't stay in that marriage.
Right.
Because of the child. It'll be a tough one. I'll put it that way, because in my mind right now, I can't stay in the marriage.
No, right? And then you got the friend you're pulling up on, and the friend looking at you like, damn.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a lot, right? But in the comments, I was like, yo, I can't tell you what you can and can't do. But I said, if you choose to stay in this marriage, then you can't continue to bring this up and hang it over her head, because you chose to stay here. So it's not something that you can hang over her head all the time. 2, you probably need to go get some therapy to work through this. That's
definitely gonna need some therapy.
Both of them. Sure. That's a trauma that's tough to deal with, and there's a child lost in the whole situation or whatever. So I posted that, I put it out. Yo, just like Nostradamus said, a dude came in the comment, was like, you and that dude, y'all both simps. So I'm like, I'm not saying I would stay. I'm just saying, if you're gonna stay, why is it? I gotta get it. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
If he goes back, he'd be considered a good guy. But why? Why is that wrong? If he wanted to go back and do whatever and be that good guy, and why is that wrong for him if he chose to do that? Why is he a simp?
Because I'm gonna tell you why. She wronged him by doing that to him. And I'm pretty sure there's at least one person in the world that would not do that to him. He just doesn't want to take the time to go find the right person for him.
I agree.
And that's why he's a simp. Because when somebody wrong you in that way and you still take them back, and you still, oh, I love you, and you get up, like, you simping, bro. Like, that's the bottom line.
You have no heart. No.
So does that apply to a woman? Because we ask women to do this all the time. So does that apply to women?
Yeah.
Who's we?
That's a good one, Jay.
Men in general ask women to do this all the time.
Oh, okay. Don't group me in that group, because I wouldn't ask no woman to do that.
There you go. You sound like it's touching you, bro. I'm just saying.
Okay, hold on.
Listen,
and for the record, y'all need to tell the world what SIM stand for. You know, just in case they don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna let Mr. Nostradamus over here, because he be handing out simp flyers and simp capes. He be handing out.
Simpletons, man. Simpletons.
Please provide them with the you said a simpletons?
Yeah, what's the acronym?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know the acronym. If you talking about it, you know, what it like letter by letter. Simp is short for simpleton.
So again, that question, when you flip it around, men ask women to do this all the time.
That's right.
Are they considering women simps?
Oh yeah, women be simping. You know, one of my favorite shows to watch when I was younger growing up, and still to the day, is Maury. The Maury Povich show, where they do all those DNA testing and stuff.
I used to never miss an episode, bro.
Oh my, it's so funny, because
every episode.
And it's like, men be simping, women be simping, because it's like, there's women that go on there like, oh, he cheats on me, he does this, he goes out, I give him money, he doesn't do, and they still, but I love him and I want to take him back. Like, yeah, you're a simp, chick, you're a simp, because there's a bunch of other guys out there that probably would treat you right.
True.
Oh, I thought he had more. I thought he was gonna keep going.
So I'll say this. I'm gonna add this. You know, it's not that I particularly disagree to you being categorized as a simp. I do believe that it's a little bit different when you're talking about marriage, something that's so sacred. If you want to try to fight for your marriage, who am I? Who am I to say? Who am I to say stay or go? If you want to fight for that, fight for it. You know, if he want to really work it out, and if he truly forgives her, because the forgiveness has to come first. If he truly forgives her and wants to work it out, and if she's truly repentant and knows that she's made whatever mistake and she ain't gonna do it again, they want to work it out, I agree. There's a great testimony at the end. Work it out. I mean, but I'm with Jay on this. That's hard to come back from. That's hard to.
Yeah, it is. That's
It
tough.
is.
So is
You're
simp
and
good guy? Is simp and good guy closely related?
Not necessarily.
No, because it can go different ways. Like you said, I mean, you're talking about
you could be the good guy.
A good guy,
and have boundaries. A good guy
exactly,
can have
but a
boundaries.
simp is just no backbone. You know what I mean? Like somebody who just simple, like you said. I mean, somebody who just you're not. For an example, like you said, if you get, I guess we can't really say based upon whoever marriage it is, but you bring a kid into the marriage at that point that's outside of your marriage. Like Nostradamus said, I mean, there's a woman or a man out there that you could get to know, you know what I mean, where you wouldn't have to deal with this stuff, you know what I mean? And like you said, that's a hard pill to swallow of not bringing it up again, you know what I mean? And then if it's a close friend of yours, like I said, this is somebody you've been rocking with probably before her at that point. If it's a close friend and, you know, he been up in the crib and now your mind and psyche is just going crazy because you like, this dude been up here plotting on my wife this whole time. You know what I mean? While he's sitting up in the house having drinks and we chilling and, you know what I mean? I opened up the door to him, but, you know, you
I mean, the good guy or girl can become a
take
simp.
the fact that True.
Because
I guess that's the easiest way to put it. They can.
The first, like how you said, maybe the first time, all right, I forgive you. Let's try to move past this hump. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of counseling, a lot of whatever. But we're going to try to make this through. But then she or he do it again and again. And he's like, okay, one more time. We're going to try to work this out. We're going to try to do our thing. Yeah, I forgive you. Bro, now you're just stupid. You foolish. You foolish. So
I get it.
I would have to agree.
I get it. So at the end of the day, it's looking like, yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Perspective change, things change during certain parts of life. But at the end of the day, I don't think, like I said, I don't think they finished last. I just think it's over a period of time. And then when you're looking at it at that point in time, when you're looking at it from that perspective, then yeah, you're gonna go after a certain thing in that point in your life. But you know, these women can't be upset. You know, later on in life, if they have multiple kids and they don't look like they did before, when they come back and then they're like, oh, well, you know, I always liked you or whatever. And if he like, no, you can't really get mad at that. So when those dudes do what they do, it is what it is. But those women have to live with those choices that they made. To your point, like you said in that one episode, you know, you can choose. You have a how do you say it? You have a choice.
Your
but
actions, not your consequences.
So you have that. When it comes down to that, you got to live with it.
Yeah.
So what? Let me ask y'all this question: what do you think causes that paradigm shift for women when they feel like now they want to go after that person that, quote unquote, the good guy? You know what I mean? And stop going for, quote unquote, the bad guy. Like, what happens for that? You know, for that paradigm shift for them? And at what age do you think that happens?
I can answer that. My shift happened when I understood the differences between what I want and what I need. And I feel like when you come to a point of maturity and wisdom, which comes with experience, you sit back and you say to yourself, okay, I have created a plethora of habits that are not taking me in the direction that I need to be. You have to really sit back and analyze your habits and for me, I recognize that I seem to be like, and this is for a lot of women in general, I'm categorized as, I guess I would put myself in the category of the good popular girl, if there was a mix of the two. Because, some people look at a good girl, the guy as a nerd. I wasn't really a nerd, but I was always in the nerd classes because I'm book smart, but I've always been me. Everybody loves me. So it's like, for me, I was attracted during those times to the not so good guys or the bad guys, the rebels, because I like to fix things. I like to make things better. Those who surround me, I always believe in me as a person, as an individual, whoever I'm with, we should be working to make each other better. So I saw, if I see an ounce of potential in you, that's the part of you that I fall in love with. Like, dad, yo, you could be amazing. We could do this damn thing together, build this empire, we go places. You can't be creating that space for other people. They got to want that space for themselves. So as time progressed, I recognized, like, yo, like, I have a habit of being attracted to a certain type of man. I got tired. I recognized, all right, like, is this your wants or your needs? What do you need? What do you really need, Nay, out of a partner?
Can I throw something in there?
You
said something one day on an episode, can't recall the episode, but you said that what you need is actually what you want. No, you had asked the question, but then we got to what you need is what you actually want. You just don't know it yet.
Right. And that's true. That's true.
Carry on.
Here I am. That's so true. Here I am at 34, and I'm like, dang, what I thought I wanted and needed, it was exact opposite of that. Like, if I'm working on these potentials or helping these guys be better guys and help to create this man in my head that I can see them being, like, why not find someone who has the potential to also not only benefit from you helping them to be better, but you're growing and being bettered by that partner. I want somebody who's going to help me be better too.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
And this is not about you, but in my experience, I've seen women make that paradigm shift from wanting, the good guy from the bad guy is when their thoughting days are over.
When their thoughting days are over. Well, not every woman has thoughting days. How about that?
Oh man, come on now. When she's done being a thought, that's when she want to go for the good guys. Because she know her time is coming. She knows she done been ran through. She know, dudes ain't falling for her tricks anymore. She knows, like, oh man, I ain't making enough money. I need to find somebody that's going to give me the security and take care of me. So then, then they want to go. I'm just telling you, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in my experience, what I've seen. And then they're like,
you see the type of woman that you be around or that you've had your days with, the ones that you were asking, hey, we're gonna do this or not, and then you moving on to the next. Whichever one say yes, want to smash. Those are those stops that you be messing with. That's why you feel like it's only for that category.
I think I might have to agree with Nostradamus to an extent. When it comes down to it, because
but hold on, let me finish real quick. Let me finish real quick, Sean.
Go ahead.
They're out thoughting, right? They don't learn how to do things that a wife should potentially do for her spouse, depending on their relationship. Depending on their relationship, and then they want somebody So, when they get older, a guy might be like, well, I want a lady that can cook for me. You know what I mean? But she can't cook because she's been thoughting, and then her box is getting old, so they don't want that. And it's like, why? Right? So
listen, I don't know about them thoughts and what they doing from what they're not doing, because I'm not one of them. But what I do know is that my shift happened when I got tired of putting in work into a relationship that truly had no potential. It wasn't going anywhere. I'm giving so much and my cup over here empty. I'm tired of that.
So what you say, Sean? I'm sorry, man. I just had to get that thought out. What you say, man?
Like I said, I mean, I have to pretty much agree with Nostradamus. Oh, shoot, much as they don't like that. But I'm just saying, for the most part, though, on the real, those are true facts. When they start saying it's getting dried up in them streets, they got to figure out a way to turn and where to turn. Now, I think there's some keys there, because I think even when it comes down to, for an example, you say yourself where you will look at these, you'll have these dudes, or you have this perception of the type of person you want to be with. I think women like that. You kind of got to have that edge on you. There got to be a balance. So it's like you're not looking at the dude walking with his shirt tucked in, this, that, whatever. You want the edge. You know what I mean? Which it's almost like the testosterone levels are different in these two human beings when it comes down to men. You know what I mean? To where the like they say, it's a known fact too. I mean, as far as when you look at people who, like I said, I mean, I guess the women who go for the supposedly thug, whatever, the testosterone levels are different. You know what I mean? Versus that dude who is on that line. You know what I mean? With, Jay probably got, wifey when he was out there in them streets doing them things with them cars and stuff, He had that edge on him.
Right.
But no. Go check it out.
But for real. But I think overall, Nostradamus has a point. You know what I mean? I think it goes both ways for men and women. I mean, with the man who out there, thotting and whatever the case may be too. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when they start realizing it's dry in these streets, you know what I mean? You start trying to realize, and like you said, unless you're really going to maturely say, let me look at my life and look at my list and what do I want versus what do I need, then, I mean, that's typically should be your turning point, but a lot of times it's not. The majority of the time is the streets is dry. I need to look somewhere else. I look for a security blanket for me to get up underneath something else, so I ain't got to worry about being in these streets like this no more, because I'm too old to be up in these streets.
And the two places they look.
So it could be so you would say that it goes both ways though, because any bad boy thug that I've had in my life, and I'm gonna do this because you really look at perspective. Like back then to us, 10, 15 years ago when I was in college and high school, those weren't real thugs, but they thought they was thugs. So we gonna do the quotation marks. They always come back around. Yo, Nay, I wish I would have did this. I wish, like, you was so good to me.
Wish you coulda, woulda.
Yeah, you missed your boat. Bye.
But see that's the thing. Like the two places they look, right, is one, they look back to find that girl or guy who was a good person, right? And they try to get back in good with that person, or they start looking younger because now those younger people don't know them. And they don't have the experience. So then they can try to, mold this younger person or act as if they're different than somebody else. When it's like, dude, you 35, 40 years old, and you want me to treat you like a queen? Like, bitch, I'm about to, once I find out you was a thought, I'm about to treat you like a thought too.
So here's my take. I think when that shift happens, I think there's a couple of levels. I know we've said this in the past. There's levels to it. There are certain women that have they've gotten caught up with the wrong dudes, ended up with multiple kids and things like that. And then as people look at that, when you're talking about, okay, what moves can I make with this woman as a man? When I start looking at certain stuff and I'm figuring out, okay, I'm trying to do X, Y, Z, and does this young lady fit into this picture? And if she doesn't, that's a no-go, because it's certain things that I just don't want to deal with, right?
I think that's fair.
So that becomes a problem. Then there's the other side where women who have went to school and gotten degrees and so forth, and they feel as though I'm above certain people because I'm educated. But being educated doesn't make you smart at the end of the day.
That's correct.
Right? So if you're not at or above, if they don't feel like you're at or above where they are, then they don't even look. Right? So then that becomes a problem for them later on, because that dude that may not have a degree or whatever, but go out there and grind, may be the person for you, but you miss it. And then you have the woman that's in the middle who's educated, but understands what it takes to make a relationship work. So she would get in a relationship with the individual, even if they don't make as much as her, but they see the value in what they're doing, like what they bring to the table, versus making a certain amount and having this car and so forth and so on. They're looking at what value does this individual bring to the table. And then they look at it as, so this isn't the 60s anymore, 70s, 80s, where the man brings home the money. No, women are bringing home money now. So it's more of a partnership than it is, and when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, the man is still the head of the household. But also, like, for instance, me, I still make decisions and stuff, but my wife and how she feels about it plays a very big part in my decision making.
Always.
So that's my partner. She's not walking behind me. She's beside me. So when I look at it from that standpoint, when women understand that and dudes understand what it is to be a man, when you know what you want and when you know what you're laying out as a man, you need to go do whatever it is that you need to do. Make that happen. As a woman, you know what you want to do, but you have to understand, does this man fit in your plan, vice versa? Like, does this man fit in what I'm trying to do? And am I okay with helping him reach that? Does she fit in what I'm trying to do? And am I okay with helping her reach whatever it is that she's trying to reach? Because if that doesn't happen, it's not going to work out. But I think when those women make those shifts, if they make that shift and if they make that shift properly, then they'll still be able to get the good guy from high school. But if you messed up to now point, if you was out here thotting and then you get to this point, yeah, your chance is going to decrease. And if you just feel like you're just overly educated and I need this particular thing, because even if you're going to be overly educated and you need this particular thing, those men want a certain thing. So you got to be able to provide that certain thing. You can meet people in the middle. You'll be able to get that good guy. You'll be able to get the life that you wanted, the security and so forth and so on. But you got to know where you're at. That's it.
True.
Now, Jadamas?
It's a good perspective, though.
True word.
I mean, at the end of the day, those women are going to figure it out. They're going to get to that point where they make that switch. And dudes don't make that switch to about, what, 30? Close to 30 when they start looking at it and be like, yo, I gotta start tightening things up. But women, high risk pregnancy is after 35, right?
35.
So you got 5 years for dudes. Maybe when does that switch happen for women? Around 25? So
no.
Dudes, what you think?
I think that shift happened for women when they get in their 30s, right? Because they start to see like their biological clock is ticking if they haven't had a baby. They start to see that,
I don't know, bro.
Because in the 20s, they still having like they fun and they still want to go after that bad guy. But in their 30s, that's when they feel like they need to settle
I
down.
can speak for that because I had my baby at 23.
I didn't see.
But we've already established you're the exception.
And mine is 25 to 30.
See, I think for men, they don't make that shift until they have an experience in their life that makes them look at their mortality, right? Because a lot of men will continue thoughting and doing what they do until they feel like, one day I'm going to need somebody to take care of me. And then they start to try to find somebody, the good person, and try to get back in good with the person who would take care of them if something happened to them. But as long as they never had to question their mortality, I think they will continue doing what they would do. I mean,
I agree though.
I was gonna say, what do you think, Sean? Because I mean, for yours to happen in your early 20s I think is very, very rare. You know, it typically gets into the 30s for women when they start to see, oh man, I'm getting older and I haven't settled down yet.
Definitely for a woman after 35 is that age where you're like, yo, you're not a spring chicken anymore. Our bodies don't work the same.
Some of them think they're spring chicken still. Shoot. they still be out here flexing.
But I ain't gonna lie though. I done had some good time with some cougars though.
You got an age limit on your Kruger?
As long as they can pay, I'm willing to play.
As long as they can pay, you willing to play?
Well, there is an age limit because I ain't trying to get an old grandma. You know what I mean? But I done had some good times with some cougars now.
Hey, good. Them cougars not have a good time. I mean, you only as old as you feel, and as old as you look. So hey, if she taking care of herself, I'm sure she's gonna keep some bop in her step.
And they be the best ones that just make sure they just want to come handle business in and out, and then they go back to doing whatever it is they were doing.
So do you think a good guy finishes last?
I think when you look at sections, when you look at the race, there's certain sprints that they definitely finish last. But like Jay was saying, it's a marathon. And I mean, if you look at the long run, I think ultimately they end up, they end up, being where they're supposed to be and doing things. And I think somebody who missed out on that good guy to begin with would probably say, damn, if only I would have knew. If you know what I mean? If you look at Bill Gates, you know what I mean? I'm sure he was one of those good guys back in school and stuff. And now he's one of the richest people, in the world. So, it's like, I think it gets to the point where you look and be like, damn, I missed out on that one. You know what I mean? But so do they finish last in sprints? They do. In the long run, some probably still finish last in the long run, but I think ultimately, they end up being in a comfortable position where they're supposed to be.
I agree.
I think that statement depends on like where you are. Like you said, stages Nostradamus. So when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and those stages, that other stage of my life before where I am now, I would say yes, they finished last. But now that I'm looking at it from a different perspective, I think the true win is the success at the end. So they win.
I would have to agree with you. That was my point as well.
They win. Y'all winning.
You know who's winning real big? You know who's winning real big right now? Those comic book nerds.
The who?
The comic book nerds.
See, I like Marvel.
Yeah, but back in the day, nobody was giving them time of day like that. We read comic books because, you know, we read it for enjoyment, but there's some, like when I say comic book nerds, I'm talking about nerds, them guys that just engulfed in it and they were just like squares. But now it's like, because they knew the whole comic book world, they was able to build out that entire universe, and now they're looked at as geniuses, and they're winning. They're winning, man.
Feeling.
Yeah. They definitely get into it, but hey, look, you just got to be who you are, man. At the end of the day, I wasn't no Mr. Tough guy.
Stay true to who you are. That's what.
Yep, and it's accepted, and you ain't for everybody. So at the end of the day, you can't expect everybody to want to be with you, and you know what I mean. And sometimes, like I said, I feel like I got saved from a lot of ish that I probably thought was good for me, but wasn't. And you know what I mean, I didn't get caught up with it, you know what I mean, in the sense of just by the grace of God, you know what I mean, where everything that we think is good for us isn't good for us. So if I'm looked at as one of those dudes who finished last, then so be it, you know what I mean. Like I said, I have a wife, kids, you know what I mean. I can't complain. Like I said, you got, you know, your peoples around you that's there for you, support you. Be true to who you are. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it always comes back. And like you said, Nostradamus, first place they look is back. Let me see who I can reach out to. Go through that old Rolodex. Try to find that old cell phone. Let me see if I still got her number. See what she's doing. Or let me go ahead and creep through the book and see what she's doing in life. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be, since they got social media now. You know what I mean? And you're going to go back, look and see, oh, she's single? Oh, okay. Let me reach out to her. Let me hit up in the DM now, since, you know, we in this world. You know what I mean? And at that point, I mean, hell, I'm sure all of us can look at the book and look at some people that you like, damn, I'm glad I dodged that bullet. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? You're looking at pictures and you're like, oh, shoot. I thought that I wanted that, but you know what I mean? I'm glad. Thank you, Jesus. You up,
thank you, Jesus.
Salute.
Dodge that bullet.
Straight up. And I mean, and that's when you be grateful for who you are and where you are, and just say, you know what, it is what it is. Let the chips fall how they fall. And whoever's meant for me gonna be for me, and keep it moving.
And if somebody reaches out to you in 15 or 20 years, you better ask them what's going on in their life for you to be reaching back out to me.
Ain't no reach outs.
That's true. So that's your final thoughts.
You know what? On the same time, you know, at the same time, you know how like you're mad, you're happy that you dodged that bullet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes on the flip side, I'm like, I'm happy that I am where I am, and you missed out on what you said, Nay, your blessing. You missed out on your blessing because I was the best thing that could have happened to you, fool.
But that's exactly. So they go hand in hand.
And you still with somebody else.
Dodge the bullet, but you like, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Y'all silly, boy.
Nah, you said that one. Go ahead, you get that. That was your final thoughts?
Yeah, what's your final thought, Jay?
My final thought is just, man, to all of y'all points, it happens in sections. It is what it is. To Sean's point, I don't feel like I lost at all, even though Nam said I was popular in high school. I hung around the people I hung around, and that was it. Then I guess we all was popular because we just hung around each other. That was it. 20 years, same people. Basically. So for me, it's I don't feel like I finished last. I did what I had to do, and that was it. I made it happen. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with the person that I'm with, and I'm happy with the friends that I have. And so if they ain't make it, they just ain't make it. Oh, that's my final thought.
Facts.
I don't got nothing because Nam hit us with it's no need for me to say anything. All right, that's it, folks. What you got? What you got, Miss Nay?
Thanks so much, guys, for joining us on another episode of Debate That. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends. Tell us what you think. What do you guys think? Do the good guys finish last? Bye.
Back on the grind, remember the times I'm feeling like Michael. Taking a stand, creating a plan, and beating the cycle. We got a whole lot of what we gotta do. Give me the raw, give me the real, just give me the truth. We start a conversation, then let the world debate it. Breath of fresh air coming through just like ventilation. And no boy, let me tell you about the squad. A dream team, so you know they coming hard. Now first up, let me tell you about Jay. You know he wise, man, that boy got knowledge for days. Check out his mind. Then we got Sean coming through like Thanos, keep him in line. He's a quiet storm, but don't get it twisted, you see the grind. And next up, we gotta talk about Nate. You know she slay. She got the brains and the beauty plus strength to keep him straight. And last but not least, we got Nostradamus. He's the voice of the people, so he'll keep it poppin'. My squad gon' keep it 100, and that's all facts. They're here to spark the conversation. Now you debate that.